universe, with all your attributes, all your names, all your greatness, O Most High. We still are lost for words, O Most High. We still are in search of words to describe your greatness, your majesty, your glory. We thank you, O Yah, for this holy Shabbat day. We thank you, O Yah, for health, for relative wealth, well-being. We thank you, O Most High, for allowing us to know your name in these days and times. We thank you, O Yah, for waking us up, O Yah, on this morning. We thank you, O Yah, for the weather, because the feeling of the cold weather lets us know that we're alive. We ask and pray that you will be with our family. We ask that you would be with the whole house of Yisrael throughout the four corners of this earth. We pray, O Yah, that you would be with those who have even suffered the loss, O Most High, on this day. We ask and pray that you would be with Chief Rafinha, O Yah. Be with his family. Comfort them in their time of need, O Yah. For we know how terrible it is to lose a loved one, O Most High. And we ask, O Most High, that you even comfort them, that you would even allow them to be strong, because we know that they're going to need the strength from the great King of the universe to deal with the trouble that they have at this time. We ask and pray, O Yah, that you would be with this house. We ask and pray that you would be with the leadership. We pray that you would be with the elders. We pray that you would be with the chief men. We pray that you would be with the children. We pray, O Yah, that you would hear our prayers. Be with the whole house of Israel throughout the four corners of the earth. We pray, O Most High, for continuous wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We pray, O Most High, that you will continue to hear our prayers, hear our cries. We pray, O Yah, that you will even bless us in the workplace, bless us in the institutions of learning. We ask and pray that you will bless us on the highways and byways. We pray, O Yah, that you will bless us in the city and the field. We pray, O Most High, that you will even quicken the day that you will even return us to our land, the land flowing with milk and honey. Return us unto our language. Return us, O Most High, unto our culture. We pray, O Yah, that you even bless every soul within the sound of my voice. We even thank you, O Most High, for strengthening us as a people, O Most High. We thank you, O Most High, for waking us up from the superstitions, from the religions, from the lies, from the falsehoods that we were living in one time or another, O Most High, and even bringing us into a place like unto this, that we can call upon your high holy name. There are no words to describe your greatness, O Most High, so we say, Kol Kavod Aleka, Meleka Olam Bori Ha'aretz, Eha Kol. Hallelujah. 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 Selah.
O Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah Elohim.
At this time, I call on my brother, Mori Arania, Ben Kon Lewi, Ben Yisrael, to continue with the praise service. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Shabbat Shalom Nicole.
Shabbat Shalom Lakah.
Giving thanks to the Most High God for this holy Shabbat day. We almost say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Thanking the Most High God for life, for food, clothing, shelter, for family, for good times. We thank Him for allowing us to come out, to wake us up in the morning. It's a beautiful thing. Let us open up our afternoon service with the song called Of Thy Wondrous Works We'll Tell. The heavens declare it, the glory is thine, the earth and its beauty shows honor divine, our Yah the Creator of everything. To Thee we lift up our voices and we'll sing of the might of God. He make darkness light. Oh, and of Thy wondrous works we'll tell, and when for lo, in Thy earest, Thy mercies will see. Thou sendest Thine angel to show us the way. To Thee we send our affection when we pray. Take up the might of God, God of our time. Yes, God's God, the God of Israel. He maketh darkness and light, and calm. Of Thy wondrous works we'll tell. Sing of the might of God, God of our God's God, the God of Israel. He maketh darkness light, and calm. Of Thy wondrous works we'll tell. Blessed be the day of the Shabbat. day of the Shabbat. Louder. Blessed be the joy that it brings. Blessed be the God of our fathers, who gives us everything. Blessed be the joy in the worship, the things that enlighten our lives. Blessed be the God of our fathers, for he is the Most High, and Yahweh is his name. I can't hear ya. Yahuwah, Yahuwah Eloheinu. Yahuwah, Yahuwah Eloheinu. Yahuwah, Yahuwah Eloheinu. Yahuwah, Yahuwah Eloheinu. Adar. Yahuwah, Yahuwah Eloheinu. Follow me, follow me. Yahuwah, Yahuwah Eloheinu. Yahuwah, Yahuwah Eloheinu. Haya. 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 That's not higher. Hine. Come on, Yehovah. Come on, Yehovah. Come on, Yehovah. Come on, Yehovah. Ein Elohei Kimo Yahovah, Melech Hagadol Leolam. O Torah Devarim Netvim, Yom Hecho Yisrael. Amen. Ein Elohei Kimo Yahovah, Melech Hagadol Leolam. O Torah Devarim Netvim, Yom Hecho Yisrael. Amen. Bring that. Y'all know what y'all saying, right? Bring it down. We say, Ein Elohei Kimo Yahovah. There's no God like Yehovah. Ein Elohe Kimo Yahovah. Melech Hagadol Le'olam. Melech Hagadol, the great king of the world. Ose Rak. Ose Rak. Divarim Niflim. Only doing wondrous things. Right? Ose Rak Divarim Niflim. Yom Hechol Yisrael Amen. Let all Israel say. All right. Ein Elohe Kimo Yahovah Melech Hagadol Le'olam Yoseh Rak Divarim Niflim Yom Hechol Yisrael Amen. Ein Elohe Kimo Yahovah Le'olam Yoseh Rak Divarim Yahovah Yom Hechol Yisrael Amen. Hallelujah. Thanking the Most High God for your voices, because I don't have much of one today, that's for sure. And as you're standing, I'm going to bring before you the teacher of the afternoon. And he needs all his time, so we have to cut the praise a little short because we're about to get a powerful message. And I pray that the Most High God is with his mind and his words, and that he can come up here and do a great presentation as he's known to do. So I'm excited. I hope you are, as I bring before you our brother, our beloved brother, our chief. Where is he? Oh, young chief. He's still a young chief. Young chief Naphtali ben Dan ben Yisrael Baruch haba. He was always young chief Nav because it was chief of chiefs. So we say young chief.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Y'all see these grades? I don't know if I'm young anymore, man. But God is still good. Hey, give me a second so we can set up the whiteboard. Throw it down.
You got that already?
Yeah, he got the chairs over there.
sorry. The board, I was doing this, but then I write. Oh, okay.
May the words of my heart and meditation of my mind be acceptable before you, O Yah, my rock and my redeemer. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. All due respect, honor, and allegiance to the Most High God, Yehovah our King. Thanking Him this day for all of your lives. Thanking Him for my life. Thanking Him for the life of the Chief Prince, Prince Yadiel Ben Yissaskar.
Amen.
All of the chief men, brothers, mothers, elders, children, everyone in the sound of my voice. I bid you all in the talk of my forefathers again. Shabbat Shalom, Shalom Lakem.
Shabbat Shalom, Shalom Lakah.
For the sake of time and what I want to get out of the portion today, I want to delve straight into the chapter and talk about some of the topics we will cover in this chapter as we go along. The portion that we'll be doing today is the books of Haggai, Haggai 1 and Haggai 2. As you know, Haggai, they consider any book that's outside of a certain amount of chapters to be a book of a minor prophet. But the significance of what is being said when put in the context of what was happening at that time is very, very, very big.
So let me know when you're ready. 505.
505, I'm at 5490. Here we go.
Now go.
Okay.
We're in the book of Haggai, hallelujah. In the second year of Darius, the king, in the 6th month, in the first day of the month, came the word of Yahweh by Haggai, the prophet, unto Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Yehoshua, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest, saying, Thus speaketh Yahweh of hosts, saying, This people say, the time is not come, the time that Yahweh's house should be built.
Now, this is around 527 BCE. We have just finished the Babylonian exile, and we're now under the rule of the Persians. And the cry was, we wanted to go back home to build God's house. So, God always hears our cries concerning our situation. Like when we were in Egypt, we wanted to have freedom. Right. But when we got into the wilderness, we acted like fools. So now we're saying we want to go back home so we can build God's house. And the people, when they get there, they forget about God's house. Mm-hmm. They say, this people say the time has not come for Yahweh's house to be built. Mm. And the parts of it that are not being said is because we got better things to do.
Right.
We have other things on our mind right now. And the prophet is going to get into those other things that people consider more important than the building of God's house. Tamshi.
Verse 3. Then came the word of Yahweh by Haggai the prophet, saying, Is it a time for you yourselves to dwell in your sealed houses while this house lies waste? Now therefore, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much and bought in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earns wages for a bag with holes.
So I want to go over this again because what the prophet is saying is very important.
Right.
And it's very relevant to what we're dealing with right now, March 23rd. Mm-hmm. No, it's not March 23rd. March 2nd,
2019.
2019, yes. Mm-hmm. I don't keep track of time all the time, but I'm here now.
What you, bro? Come on.
Is it time for you yourself to dwell in your sealed houses while this house lieth waste? Mm. When you know that there's a lot more you can do to build God's house and you don't do it, God is not going to bless you. Right. Why should he? It's all reciprocation, a relationship of reciprocation with the Most High God. We have a working relationship with God. And I'm going to get into working relationships and how we can have a working relationship with one another. But we have a working relationship with God. If we take care of God, God will take care of us. So he says, now therefore, thus saith Jehovah of hosts, consider your ways. You know, I'm studying this thing about people who impose their will. A lot of Israelites like to impose their wills. They like to do it from an aggressive standpoint. They like to do it from a passive-aggressive standpoint. You know, there's people that will come into your connection, and, you know, a sister knows that we don't have pants wearing inside this place because of Torah. It's not because we're vile or we are bullies. Torah says so. But they'll walk up in your place knowing your standards and have a seat. And then the uncomfortable feeling that you have is like, you know, you don't want to be the bad guy. But you're not the one imposing your will. They're imposing their will on you.
All right.
So I want you to understand something. Without rules, a people are savage.
That's right.
We need rules to survive. We need rules to love one another.
Come on.
We need rules to protect ourselves.
Right.
The reason why we have aggression amongst us and stuff that wilds out and people go is because we don't have rules. You see, it's even worse now than it was before. You know, pastors, preachers, and people say they're in charge of camps and all types of stuff. They don't have no rules for themselves. The king of Israel actually had rules that he had to follow. There's a checks and balance system in place, but if you don't have those things in place, then people are prone to do anything they want to do in the name of God. That's why kids get molested in churches, because there's no rules. And just as there's a need to have rules, there's a need to make sure that everybody is responsible for enforcing those rules.
That's right.
It's not up to one person to be like, oh, somebody's doing something wrong, do something about it. No, if you love this place, if this place is about, if you're invested inside this place and you want this place to grow, then you are just as responsible for making sure that those rules are enforced just as anybody that walks through this door. Because it's your place. When something spills in your house, do you leave it or do you clean it up? Clean it up.
Come on.
It's spilled. Can't do nothing about it spilled. It may have stayed in the carpet, but it don't have to stay there. If this is your house, and if something happens, spiritually, morally, whatever, you are responsible for making sure that that mess get cleaned up. Don't bring your mess into God's house. It's not fair.
That's right.
That's the problem. It's not fair. That's your thing. And that bad deed, that wicked deed that you may practice, that you deem okay, or that you think nobody's seeing, that you bring into the God house, we can't get blessed with corruption around us. Thank you, sir. We can't get the blessings we need because there's an evil in the midst of us that's being secret. Now remember what happened with Joshua and Achan.
Yeah. Achan, that's right.
We went to war and people died. He's like, wow, you know, like, what did I do wrong?
Right.
God said, listen, get about your depression,
Right.
right? Find out what went down,
Right.
and do something about it. Because that's the only way you can move forward. And with all of the zeal and, yeah, we're going to serve Yah, whatever, as soon as a chance of corruption comes about, some people take advantage of it. Now, my thing is not that people don't fall down. This is human nature. People going to do what they're going to do. But when they do it, what do you do about it?
Right.
You see, we did the nice guy thing already. You know, I would love to this to be a money camp. I would love to be a place where we count heads and worry about how many soldiers we got and how many people are putting money to the kitty. But that's not what's going to get you your blessing.
That's right.
God is not concerned with those things. He is concerned about the morals of the people.
That's right.
He always has been.
Uh-huh.
If he told Moses, get back, I'll make a nation out of you, he don't care about none of us.
That's right.
Think about that. So when it comes to this portion here, God says, consider your ways. You have so much and brought in little. We do a lot of work and we wonder why we don't get blessed.
Right.
Because something's wrong.
That's right.
Those key issues, and it's usually those small little issues that we just don't know how to get over. Watch your habits. Watch your nasty sexual habits. Watch your thieving habits. Watch your lying. Watch those small little things that you did as a Negro that you can't get over now that you're an Israelite. Because oftentimes, you know, a lot of people are about the facade. I come up here and I talk, yeah, Chief Nash, he's going to be saying some stuff today. Yeah. But the inside is what, the relationship with God, inside is what matters. Because if people say, oh, listen to the messenger, if I don't profess the things or live the things that I profess, then the impact of what I say to you has no value. So you have to be the walk that you walk and the talk that you have to be that, because the impact of your words are supposed to have meaning. And let me tell you something. Do not get hung up on who goes where, because I'm going to tell you something. Eddie Long, pedophile. People were still giving him dough. People were still going to his church. People were still packing his church up. Pedophile. R. Kelly. Don't you know the girl, it's not brothers, it's women that are out there right now, after all the stuff that this been exposed and all the stuff he done did, they are raising funds for him, they out there brazen, the media's lying, fake news, free R. Kelly, all types of stuff, and this man is clearly guilty. But he still got support. Don't get hung up on the ways and the minds of Israelites, because we're sick. We will follow immoral people. We do that. We have done it. We got mad at Moses because Korah died. And we got mad at Moses. And they were dead wrong. You killed the people, and Moses didn't kill nobody. You killed the people of God, Moses. But you have to understand, we don't have moral. We have friends that do wicked, and we know we still friends with them.
It is.
And that's a testament to your morality, not theirs, because they don't care.
That's right.
It's a testament to your morality. Where's your value system at? Where's your ethics? When do you say, yeah, we were cool, but our morality is based on things like if we are the same gender, if you're a girl and you got that, God don't have any. God and righteousness are not something that rests just in male and females and black and white. It don't work that way. That's a moral choice that you make as an individual. America got us thinking that, if you're black, you're wicked. If you're white, you're wicked. If you're female, this is wrong. If you're male, this is wrong. That's America. And America will keep on socially engineering that way of thinking until this country is gone, because that's how they make their money. That's right. They make their money through division and separation. Oppression don't work when we're together. It works when we're separate. That's right. The very nature of the racist society here was done so that the elite and the rich could protect themselves against the poor. And everybody was poor. The white people were poor, the Indians were poor, the black people were poor. But if they didn't separate us, all of us, then they would say, wow, man, we getting chump change and we doing all the work. And there's like 105 of us and there's only one of them. Yep. Revolution. That's right. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe, but there is none warm. Mm-hmm. And he that earneth wages for a bag with holes. No matter how much money you make, you can't save, you can't keep it. And let me tell you a secret. The essence of what the temple was, if you read, that's why it's important, even though some of us are not in the economics, when you read those portions about what we had to give and the sacrifices and stuff, that was the economic center of the nation. So as long as we were able to do what we had to do, the nation always ate. The reason why we have laws the way we have them with giving tithe is because, nations, they don't have things where the poor and the needy get from that society. They just take, and you on your own. And remember, at one time, that's the way Israel was. Israel was take, and the people suffered. But the reason why you're not supposed to have whores is because a lot of times whoring is not a thing that people do because they want to do it. They do that today. Then it was really about them trying to feed themselves. Kids and stuff, and they trying to feed them, but so that they don't do things that are immoral to survive, like steal, like prostitute themselves, like murder for food. It's the reason why is because the poor and needy will always have something in their land as long as we pay our tithes. Our society revolved, the economics revolved around the temple. Our army revolved around what we gave. Everything revolved around that. So it makes sense that we are not prospering when we don't do good things for God's house. It's because it was the center of our lives. It was the center of the nation. So for everything else to work, that has to get built first.
Right.
Tamshi.
Verse 7. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways. Go up to the hill country and bring wood and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, saith Yahweh. Ye looked for much, and lo, it came to little. And when ye brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why, saith Yahweh of hosts? Because of my house that lies waste, while ye run every man for his own house. Therefore over you the heaven has been kept back, so that there is no dew, and the earth has kept back her produce. And I call for a drought upon the land, and upon the mountains, and upon the corn, and upon the wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground brings forth, and upon men, and upon cattle, and upon all the labor of their hands.
You are not the focus of God's movement. No individual is. The biggest problem we have is that a lot of us want to float. We want to be more special than what the priority is. The priority is the collective movement, not the individual. The priority is making sure that God's house is built. And you know what? A lot of us is like, this is the place, and whatever the case may be. Allow this to be an institution. If it becomes an institution, it becomes something bigger than you. That means that when you're dead and gone, what you built will still last. That's why it has nothing to do with the individuals per se here, because sometimes, everybody's looking for that one person to jump up and be a superhero. I'm tired of Israelite superheroes. Everybody got a story that they want to tell about how they invincible, how they tough, how they this, how they that. But the priorities of the nation are never being kept. Are we feeding the hungry? That's a superhero. Right. Is the naked being clothed with a blanket like it says in Isaiah? That's a superhero. Right. We don't need no more tough guys. Because the tough guys, whatever it is, the tough guys are not producing. What's going on? You don't need no more fly girls. That's not getting us across. I know you think you're sexy. That's good. But that's not building the institution. Right. That's not making the mark that we need to make in this day and time. Tamshi.
Verse 12. Then Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and Yehoshua, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest, with all the remnant of the people, hearkened unto the voice of Yahweh their God, and unto the words of Haggai the prophet, as Yahweh their God has sent them. And the people did fear before Yahweh. Then spoke Haggai, Yahweh's messenger, in Yahweh's message unto the people, saying, I am with you, saith Yahweh. And Yahweh stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and the spirit of Yehoshua, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest, and the spirit of all the remnant of the people. And they came and did the work in the house of Yahweh of hosts their God, in the 24th day of the month, and the 6th month, and the 2nd year of Darius the king.
So all of this is like happening in a matter of like a couple of months, about 4 months. Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Yehuda, being a direct descendant of David, and Yehoshua, son of Jehozadak, is also a high priest, a direct descendant of Aaron. Tamshi.
The book of Haggai, chapter 2, verse 1. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
In the 7th month, in the 21st day of the month, came the word of Yahweh by Haggai the prophet, saying, Speak now to Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Yehuda, and to Yehoshua, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest, and to remnant of the people, saying, Who is left among you that saw this house in its former glory? And how do you see it now? Is not such a one as nothing in your eyes?
So what actually happened was they built the house, right? But they didn't build it with the same zeal and the same luster and the same beauty that it was built when Solomon first built his temple. So he asking them, how many of you, because there's some people that were older, they could remember the old temple before it burned down. Who is left amongst you that saw this house in its former glory? Now, it says, and how do you see it now? Is it not such a one as nothing in your eyes? That means you built it, but it doesn't have that significance and importance to you now as it did all of those years ago. It was great. Pesach was great, and when, y'all remember when Solomon came and the priests were in their courses and the temple was built and the amount of time and dedication that was put into making the temple. And then when he had dedicated the temple, that the Spirit of God came inside the place, everybody's like, okay, yeah, it's done. Let's go about our business like we did before. Tamshi.
Verse 4. Yet now be strong, O Zerubbabel, saith Yahweh, and be strong, O Yehoshua, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest. And be strong, O ye people of the land, saith Yahweh, and work, for I am with you, saith Yahweh of hosts.
So it's not enough, like the brother said this morning, just to give money.
Right.
It's the work. It's the upkeep. It's the energy and the zeal that you put into your place.
That's right.
It's the righteousness that you put into your place that make your place.
Right.
Because D.C.B. is not 382 Hamilton Avenue. D.C.B. is wherever D.C.B. gonna be.
Right.
This is where we are now, but this is where the Most High God has us now.
Right.
But Israel is where God wants Israel to be.
Right.
But wherever you go, you have to bring the same greatness regardless of where you're at.
Come on.
If we go to Queens,
Yeah.
if we in the desert, as the God brothers would say,
Right.
if we in the desert
Yeah.
and we build a place out there, we have to magnify the Most High God's name with the same strength, same power, same zeal.
Yeah.
If we go to Alabama,
Right.
we have to magnify God's name with the same strength and zeal.
That's right.
It ain't the places what you put in it.
That's right.
And when I say that, I'm not talking about chairs.
Right.
I'm not talking about banners. I'm talking about your heart.
Right.
Because if your heart ain't here, you don't belong here.
Come on.
It ain't my authority to say to get out, but it's my opinion. I can give my opinion. You don't want to be here, mind, body, and spirit, then don't be here.
Right.
Because we need the best. We don't need people that are like this.
Right.
Breakdancing. We don't need people like that. Because we need the best. And I'm not saying you can't walk through the door and have a seat, but we need to know who we can count on.
Come on.
Everybody needs to know that.
Right.
In your house, you need to know who's dependable and who's not.
Right.
In your personal life. So when it comes to God's house, we need to know who we can rely on. That's how you can build. I'm not going to expose how much money we have in the kitty. If you member, you should know. There's a difference between members and congregants. People come, but everybody is not in it. I'm not going to expose that, but we too seem to have more in a small amount of time than we had 20 years at another place. And it's because there's a focus to make sure that things get done, but we have to still carry that on.
That's right.
You got like 5 times more money than the small amount of time. It's like, so you can have vision, you can expand ideas, you can expand your portfolio. You can do certain things now because you're building not towards an individual, but towards a greater cause.
That's right.
So you see, collectively we can do much, but we don't need anybody tearing what we're trying to produce down. Because that's one of the worst feelings in the world that I've experienced in my life. You know, I had failed marriages, all types of stuff. But the worst experience you could, when you dedicate yourself to God and somebody does that and pull that rug underneath your feet, I can't even being honest with you, I don't think that God can have mercy on you if you do stuff like that to people. Because my sacrifice to God, you know what that is? It's like the wicked sons of Shemuel who did damage, and the wicked sons of Eli who would do falsehood with the sacrifices of the people. And it causes people to lose faith in this truth and lose faith in the whole institution of the priesthood when you damage it like that. So what we give to God and what you give to God and what you give to God, we should all hold value to that. Right. And it's not anybody's here to play with. Please don't do that because you're playing with your life.
That's right.
You play with your life. I don't care how tough you are. You play with your life when you play with the things that the people give unto God. If it's their singing, if it's their commitment, if it's the work that they've done throughout the years, don't play with that. Right. Because for some people, that's all they got. For some people, that's all that matters because that's what they know. They know giving to God. You know, I saw something on TV. It was YouTube. And this girl is cursing these dudes out because they went and stole the church money. They done messed up the church's money. And when it took the church money, and she's like talking about her mother, like, my mother gave in sincerity this money to the church, and y'all stole it. And y'all stole it. Right. There's no mercy for people that think that way. And even though that's falsehood, the people don't know that they're giving that money to JJ in sincerity. Right. Some of them give their last.
They're giving it to God.
Because they think that they're giving that to God. Yeah. And you, who probably know the truth and playing games, right. Oh yeah, we're going to take this. For your own evil, divisive, narcissistic purposes. Wow. Don't play with God's people. It's not worth it. And I say it's not worth it because God will forfeit your life for his people. Mm-hmm. He will. Continue.
Verse 5. The word that I covenanted with you when you came out of Egypt have I established. And my spirit abides among you. Fear ye not. For thus saith Yahweh of hosts, yet once it is a little while, and I will shake the heavens, and the earth, and the sea, and the dry land. And I will shake all nations, and the choicest things of all nations shall come, and I will fill this house with glory, saith Yahweh of hosts. Mine is the silver, and mine the gold, saith Yahweh of hosts. The glory of this latter house shall be greater than that of the former, saith Yahweh of hosts, and in this place will I give peace, saith Yahweh of hosts.
Don't worry about where the place is going to come from if we do our job.
That's right.
God is watching everything we do. He's watching everybody. But if we do what we're supposed to do, the blessing, that's what Moses is saying. All of that is mine. Don't matter how you got to go through the Morris Company, you got to go through Geinberg, you got to go through this to get the, whatever you got to do, but all of it is mine. Right. I determine what you have. Right. The silver's mine, the gold is mine, and I will make it great, but you got to do your job.
Yeah.
Time sheet.
Verse 10. In the 24th day of the 9th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of Yahweh by Haggai the prophet, saying, Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, ask now the priest for instruction, saying, If one bears hallowed flesh in the skirt of his garment, and with his skirt do touch bread, or pottage, or wine, or oil, or any food, shall it become holy? And the priest answered and said, No. Then said Haggai, If one that is unclean by a dead body touch any of these, shall it be unclean? And the priest answered and said, It shall be unclean.
Interesting. He's saying if you have a holy something, maybe you got a sacrifice and it's holy and it's set aside, whatever, and you touch it, and does that, by touching that, make other things unholy? When you touch it, holiness don't work that way. But on the parallel, if you are unclean by the dead, And you walk around touching stuff, all those things that you touch unclean, they like, yeah. Jump sheet.
14. Then answered Haggai and said, so is this people, and so is this nation before me, saith Yahweh. And so is every work of their hands, and that which they offer, there is unclean.
So if your ways are not right, what you give is not acceptable before God. That's why the work that we do have to be done with a clean hands and a pure heart.
Right.
It's not enough just to be here.
Right.
It's not enough to have people here, 50 people, everybody. It's about what's in your heart. And it's about what you do in your life. That means something. I'm not talking about mistakes.
Right.
Because human beings make mistakes. I'm talking about the things you know better than to do, but you still do anyway. Sometimes we fight too hard trying to impose our will, and we know that the Most High is not pleased with us.
Okay.
We know he's not. He's showing you that he's not pleased.
Okay.
And to what degree he may not be pleased, I don't know. I'm not the Most High. But if you need and you don't get, like it says, I'm blowing on your blessings. The Most High said, I'm blowing your blessings. You thought you had it, but it's gone. That tax refund. You waiting on that. You waiting on that. All of a sudden, oh, you owe prior taxes. It's gone.
Right.
Or you went and took Ubers for 1 week, and all of a sudden half of your money's just done. And it happens with small things like that. You be like, man, I just got $1,200, and I only got $3 left. Damn, I paid the bills, I bought groceries, and that's what it is. Now you just catching up. But that's how it is. All of the stuff that you get, the Most High is blowing on it. Because you're not taking care of him. And not just with the place with you. You know, let me tell you something. God wakes you up. How he wakes you up to learn about who you are and his great and glorious name is his choice. But he wakes you up. He gives you the life of Torah. And then you turn around and revert to the Negroism that you left behind. You know what that's like? It's like spitting in God's face. Every time we sin with our high hand, we spit in God's face. Because he could have left you a barbarian and a Negro right out on the street. And it was his prerogative. Whatever he saw, whatever he chose to do, he gave you the blessing of doing it. Don't make it seem like what the Most High God said when he had made the earth, like he repented to do. You don't want God to have that feeling towards you. That this one was a mistake. And no, God don't make mistakes. But at the same time, the chance that he gave you, because all of us are just getting a chance.
That's right.
We're getting an opportunity to serve him that other people are not able to take advantage of at this time.
Amen.
It's an opportunity.
Right.
Do you want it to be a thing where you blew your opportunity because it's on you? It ain't on God.
Right.
Time sheet.
15. And now I pray you, consider from this day and forward, before a stone was laid upon a stone in the temple of Yahweh, through all that time, when one came to a heap of 20 measures, there were but 10. When one came to the wine vat to draw out 50 press measures, there were but 20. I smote you with blasting and with mildew and with hail and all the work of your hands. Yet ye turn not to me, saith Yahweh. Consider, I pray you, from this day and forward, from the 24th day of the 9th month, even from the day that the foundation of Yahweh's temple was laid, consider it. Is the seed yet in the barn? Yea, the vine, and the fig tree, and the pomegranate, and the olive tree have not been brought forth. From this day will I bless you.
Time sheet.
And the word of Yahweh came the second time unto Haggai on the 24th day of the month, saying, Speak to Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth, and I will overthrow the throne of the kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the nations, and I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them, and the horses and their riders shall come down, everyone by the sword of his brother. And that day, saith Jehovah of hosts, will I take thee, O Zerubbabel, my servant, the son of Shealtiel, saith Yahweh, and will make thee as a signet. For I have chosen thee, saith Jehovah of hosts. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. And Zerubbabel and Shealtiel are just being representatives of us in the establishment of the Most High God's house in the future. Because we have nothing to worry about. They've tried. Gave us AIDS.
Talk about it.
Gave us slavery, poverty, Jim Crow, black code. They gave us everything. We still here. They still trying. We still here. They gonna keep on trying. We still gonna be here.
Right.
But we gotta do our part.
That's right. Right.
So with that being said, I wanted to go into some class participation.
Okay.
When the Most High God brought us out of the land of Egypt, He established a working relationship with us. A working relationship is an agreement on how we're going to interact with each other and interact with Him. Can anybody tell me what that working relationship is? Torah. Somebody said it real weak, like, they were scared. Like, I don't know if the answer is right. But you were right. Torah is our working relationship with God. That's how we live.
Right.
That's how we get our former rain and our latter rain. That's how we're able to cooperate with one another. That's how we have health. That's how we're able to feed our poor and feed ourselves. Everything is based on Torah. So with that being said, oftentimes we may be in a place for a long time and we think we really understand each other. We understand the things that we should do or we shouldn't do. But nothing you really do or nothing that you really understand concerning the person, it doesn't exist unless you establish it, right? So you have to be able to have that understanding with a person and say, listen, I don't like being touched. I wouldn't know that if you don't tell me, right?
That's right.
I think it's kind of weird, but, I understand you don't like being touched by certain people, but I'm just saying that as an example. Or, I'm the person that when I talk, I may talk a little bit loud, or, I joke this way, and you may say, sister, I don't joke that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes we don't have an understanding. We assume we have a way that we used to do things,
Right.
but that don't mean that the community feels that way. That doesn't mean that the community has an understanding of how they should operate with one another.
Right.
This person comes inside and, they got on pants, and they have to sit down, and just nobody says nothing, and we know, like, this is wrong, but we just don't have the heart because we don't want to disappoint people. We don't want people walking out. There's things that people may do wrong in your face that needs to be checked, but then at the same time, you want the right person to say it because we don't all know how to talk to people.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you guys, when you meet an individual or when you interact with an individual, what are some basic tenets of human interaction that you look for? Don't be scared. Simple things.
That they have your attention, you have their attention.
Attention.
They're not very long.
You know why that's important? Because things that you say that are of substance and the person's not paying attention to you, I know you get that. I get it from Aisha a lot. I may be on the computer and she's talking her head off. Yeah, and the work, and when such and such and such and such. And that's wrong. I'm telling you that's wrong. You know why? Because she always needs that time. And I'm going to need that time. I'm going to need that time. Like, I have something to say. I want your undivided attention. Yeah, this one is not working too well. You had it open too long? I had it open. I was talking. That's what happened? Cool. So the brother said attention. Anybody else? I heard body language and active listening. Does everybody have an understanding of what active listening is?
Engaged in a conversation.
So active listening, part of it is you kind of show how that you are listening by yes and replying to some things that are said, like is not active listening. That's the opposite of active listening, right? Active listening is, yeah, and you're getting into what's being said, you're responding, you're actually repeating some of the stuff that you heard. That's active listening. Somebody said body language. I got one for you though. Respect.
That was mine.
That was yours? I give that to you. Moray. I don't need it. I'm lecturing right now. I don't need it. Respect. That was mine. Somebody said body. I got that body language. Anything else? Now, the fact that y'all are not talking says something to me, right? If something comes up, and somebody gets into a disagreement like we always have, what are our rules of engagement? Right?
Exactly.
Just think about, and think about, maybe I can have to question it, phrase the question another way. What things don't you tolerate from people?
Attitude.
You said attitude. Attitude, disrespect. Seems like we got all the negatives. Give me one.
Put your hands on it.
Hands. I'm gonna put aggression and violence. I'm not even spelling this right, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
Got kids looking.
Children. Children is children. Give me what you mean by that. Immaturity. Immaturity. It's important that the kids are seeing this because, kids, they have engagement rules when they go to school.
Right.
And it's funny that adults don't practice engagement rules, and we do a lot of bad things to one another. So they have a chance. More? None? Anybody?
Onto this one, eye contact.
I'm going to put that with attention.
So what was the first question and what was the second one again? The first one at the top.
This is what he's not doing. Right? This is what he's not doing. No attention, no active listening. Right, just an example.
Hold on, I gotta add another one.
Okay.
Showing up people. Showing up. I forgot, yeah.
I'll put that down.
Yeah, on the negative. That's what I'm talking about, on the negative. Showing up people. For not active.
So you said somebody put foul language, right?
Being condescending.
Hygiene.
No. I think that's very important. The reason why that's important because it's engagement. Some people come without understanding that you're around people and that your smell is disrespectful to me. Right? That's why you have to have a code. It's offensive, excuse me. You said foul language, and somebody said hygiene. Okay, we have a lot of the don'ts. What about the do's? How should we treat one another? What should we give one another when we come to the door, when we greet? Care. That's very important. Somebody said cooperation. Sincerity instead of genuine. That's the word that we like to do. Sincerity. Thank you, sir. Anything else?
Kindness.
Kindness. Who said open-minded? Compassion, very good.
Patient.
Excellent. Understanding. Understanding. Excuse my chicken scratch. This is patience, attention. I can say
Someone online say smile,
a smile.
body language,
Somebody said body language already.
eye contact.
Eye contact. You know what? I'm going to put all of those with attention and body language because they all.
I'm just running off.
No, let them go.
You might listen and posture, disrespect.
That's body language, disrespect. We got
Dirty
that.
words, compassion.
We got that. Foul
respect,
language.
Understanding, breathing.
Okay. Manners. Ooh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put the big, the big umbrella. Manners. Because proper manners means you have all of these things accomplishing, right? So I'm gonna stop. Not that there aren't more, but I'm gonna stop here. And I'm gonna ask everybody a question. Are we doing all of these things here? Why not? Do they need to be enforced? Or can it be something that is inspired within you to practice on your own? No, I'm asking. I'm really asking that question because some people don't know. Or they don't have it. Or they know, but they just don't care. Right? So, if we can do it and practice it on our own, then we don't need to enforce that type of behavior, do we? But if we can do it and practice it on our own and it's still happening, then that's the dilemma. Because it's still happening, right? Because we all agree that we don't live up to all of this and we're practicing a lot of this, right? So what can we do to make sure that we can practice more of this activity? And these are the things that create the teams that we need to have. Because these are the tenets of cooperation.
Can I say something?
Okay.
I don't think that we don't practice a lot of those. I just think that it's the way that we are. It's like part of who we are.
Cool.
That makes us act a certain way. Right? Yeah, like the way you were conditioned. So you might come from a bad family background that didn't teach you manners, that didn't teach you to say hi when you walk into the house, that didn't teach you how to do certain things. And then you might have to pull a brother and sister and be like, when you walk into the midst of people, you have to address people.
But that's enforcement. Right?
No, but that's someone addressing a person.
But it's the enforcement. It's something that you feel like you have to address. It's not happening, they're not practicing it, so you need to make that statement to say this is what we need to do or what you're doing is wrong. Right? So
What about this leading by example?
yes. So
Sometimes that doesn't work.
right, no, but it all starts with you. Right? So you have to lead by example. The issue is not whether or not you can't lead by example, it's for those individuals that don't. When we don't do what we're supposed to do, then what we do. So yeah, what's the next step? If these things are not happening and we need to enforce the attitude of care, cooperation, sincerity, kindness, whatever, what is our next step? Communication. Is that enforcement or is that communication?
Sometimes you need that balance. You may need to enforce it as well as leading by example. And then there's some people you may just have to pull to the side and say, listen, because enforcement you may need it. Some people you may need enforcement. Some people can just look and say, I see this brother acting this way, this brother, and that's cool. I like that.
Right.
And they can pick up on that. And some people are just so selfish and stuck in their ways, such as Chief Ubal said, where
I thought you were going to say such a she's away. I'm like,
whereas their upbringing
Right.
may be different, or which is conditioning, as well as certain congregations, they may have come from certain backgrounds, and they have to be reprogrammed.
Right.
So it can be, I believe, it should be a mixture of, it could be a mixture of both.
So I got 5 minutes left, or almost less than that. So what I want to do is make sure that this sticks inside your head. The common denominator that we have to establish is for our own existence, right? So the necessity of rules exists because, as he said, there's people that come from all walk of life, understand things the different ways, don't understand that joke that you told me just now, I don't like it, I take offense to that, or whatever the case may be. It's sometimes, although we're one people, we do have cultural differences. Some of us come from the streets, some of us come from the suburbs, some of us come from West Indies, some of us come from America, but we have cultural differences. How we're able to establish a working agreement so that we understand how to treat one another is to make sure we make rules to enforce all of this. Because even though we all know the law, a lot of us interpret the law differently. But how do we come together and establish that this is our standard? This is how we engage with one another. We deal with one another with kindness, with love, with respect, X, Y, and Z. And it's not something that's some vague idea that's floating around. We have an established way that we go about respecting one another. And I want y'all to think about that, because for us to be able to have that existence, we need to have rules. We need to know at the end of the day that, my brother's doing the right thing. And if he doesn't, these are the consequences of the antisocial behavior that you're practicing. Because, there's people that may be here and they decide they want to curse somebody out one day. Is that part of our engagement rules? It's not. But if we don't do anything about it, that it makes it seem like that behavior is okay. So we have to make sure that we enforce a lot of the things that we know was good, but we have to enforce those good things to make them of value. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Shabbat Shalom Lakim.
Shabbat Shalom Lakim.
This is part 1.
I was just about to say that this has to, this is just a beginning. I feel like we need more open discussions like this, because it's very important,
Y'all take that in the back.
Yeah, take it in the back. Thanking our brother, Chief Naphtali Mendan, for his words and his presentation. And he always, he's a person that gets your mind going, gets you thinking, gets you focused on the Most High and trying to be better, because that's what we're here for, to try to be better. Like he said, we all come from different, different upbringings, but the Most High God is the common denominator that we have, and we have to try to, make it work somehow. Because listen, I love everyone. I don't care where you come from. If you come from the West Indies, if you from down south, the Midwest, California, Africa, I don't care where you come from. We have to try to love each other. At this time, I'm going to say the words of the blessing, and I pray that the Most High God would hear these words and allow us to have a good week, a week filled with His protection, His guidance. I pray that the Most High God would help us to deal with our obstacles that we go through on a daily basis and put a blessing on His people, a blessing that is definitely needed. As I say these words. Why Dabir Yehovah El Moshe Lemor, Dabir El Aharon wa El Benal Lemor, Kol Tavaraku et Bnei Yisrael Amor Lahem. Yehovah spoke unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto Aharon and unto his son, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, ye shall say unto them, Yivarekka Yehovah wa Yishmarecha, Ya'ir Yehovah Pana Alecha wa Yichunecha, Yisa Yehovah Pana Alecha wa Yasim Leka. Shalom. Yehovah bless thee and keep thee. Yehovah make his face to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yehovah lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. B'kwacho. Hallelujah. Lechiahuzo. Hallelujah. B'gorotai. Hallelujah. Cherokulo. Hallelujah. Letekwasho. Motai Shabbat Shalom L'Kol.
Motai Shabbat Shalom L'Kol.
Lekuim Yah.
Or I say, you singing that song wrong. She called me last night. She said it's not Otanu, but I'll tell you later. She said it's another word, you know, but my Hebrew ain't that great. She says now Otanu Yahweh.
Al Tishka.
Don't do it. She gonna give you a call. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Listen, I invite the phone call. Al Tishkak Otanu.
A couple of things we gotta correct wrong.
Shachak. Shachak, to remember, right? Al Tishkak. Tishkak is a command. Al Tishkak Otanu is us.
And the last stanza of unity, we singing it wrong.
Oh, man.
So I got some things to talk to you about. She made a list, yes she did. So he gonna get himself in trouble. He gonna get a phone call right now. We thank the Most High God for this day. And first announcement is for the people online that would like to donate. You can make your donations out to 382 Hamilton Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, D.C.B. The zip code is 11231. That's for everyone online that would like to donate. You can send your donation, your checks and money orders there. You can also donate on our website, www.baitdcb.org. www.baitdcb.org. On the donation icon, you just press it, or on the what do you call that? The toolbar, whatever. There's a donation icon there. You press that, and you get your donations. You could donate there. You could also donate via PayPal at info@baitdcb.org. info@baitdcb.org. We thank every one of you for your continuous donations, that you continue to donate to us. I didn't create Venmo or Cash App yet. I'm going to try to create it tonight. I got to get the bank card from one of the two, the treasurer, the assistant treasurer, in order to get that set up. All right, so I'm going to set it up tonight, and then we're going to have the link up on our website or whatever, so that you could donate to Cash App or Venmo, right? Venmo is the other one, right? Yeah. All right, so that's for everyone that would like to donate. All right. Man, I need glasses on. The Israelite Community Vision Council presents Health Economic Summit. Topics: diabetes, stress, and weight loss workshops, tax reparation, real estate, apprenticeship, community pride, goals and history, panel discussion, business networking, vendor tables available $25, financial and legal professionals available at consultation with special guest speakers when Sunday, March 10th, 2019, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., where? Beit Shalom Congregation, 730 Willoughby Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11206. You could call 718-213-7458. R. Benjamin Hakohen. Or you could go to www.blackjews.org or www.eventbrite.com. Offering $5, refreshments served. So that's for everyone at Beit Shalom, March 10th. Tomorrow is the bowling trip. Can we get the, what's the name of the place?
Bowl 360.
Bowl 360, and the address is what?
98-18 Rockaway Boulevard, Ozone Park, New York, 11427.
Come on, man. 98 dash what?
18.
98-18.
Rockaway Boulevard.
Rockaway Boulevard.
Ozone Park.
Ozone Park.
New York.
New York. That's Queens.
Yes.
Right.
11427.
11427. That's for everyone that would like to join. We expect everyone to come out. Don't let a little bit of
$20 per person.
$20 per person, and children under 10.
$20 per person. 2 hours of unlimited bowling.
2 hours of unlimited bowling.
Registration time.
Registration time.
12 p.m.
12 p.m.
If you haven't paid me in advance.
If you haven't paid Moreh Yiftach in advance. All right, so we expect you all to be there and come out and support. Any other announcements? Prince Yerio.
I want to thank everyone for being so kind to me and putting up with me. I probably act ugly, but I couldn't find my blanket.
I'm sorry.
I found my blanket and I'm taking it home for good night.
After she took the blanket,
The young lady that gave it to me, she's dead now. She's already passed a few years. Sentimental. So that's the whole thing about it. I couldn't get another one to play with. Sentimental. But thank you all very much.
we searched high and low for that blanket.
Love you. You saw me come in. Love you.
All right. On another sadder note, as y'all know, as y'all was told, our brother, Chief of Vineyard, his Emma passed away. A lady that I've known for 50 years of my life. For those who would like to show their respects, we have a wake coming up, which will be Tuesday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then Wednesday will be a funeral, March 6th, starting at 10 a.m. The address is 491 DeKalb. It's DeKalb Funeral Home. It's 491. So anybody, Brooklyn, New York, I don't know the zip code. Sister Edna, you know the zip code over there? 11205. All right, so that's in case you want to look it up. But as soon as you put the address in your little Google things and all that, it should pop up. But for anybody who would like to pay their respects, that's the address, and those are the times and the dates. Shalom.
Any other announcements?
Yeah, I have one announcement. For all those who have wanted patches, I'm gonna have to order them. So I gotta know whoever wants the D.C.B color patches. You know, so I can order $5 a piece. But I only have about 4 left now, but I'm gonna need one for Blake.
But if you want any one of the other colors.
I have other colors for other days.
Yes.
But this is the Unity Shabbat color, and this is the camp color. So we still have various ones. Y'all can see what you want, or wait till the last minute.
Any other announcements? No other, any birthdays?
Any birthdays, celebrations, marriages, divorces? All that's public announcements, man. Well, we thank all of y'all for coming out. You know we use D.C.B so much, but we got to know what it stands for. That's Dot CHOKMAH BINAH, which the house, which means knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So let's try to use that this week, people. Let's use the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the Most High has given us to get through this week, because we're going to have a lot of trials and tests. Amen.